Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. This project we're going to use the Griffin rubber stamps for him, and a set of rubber stamps based very masculine to make gorgeous cards for that special man in your life. Now this is partly a reviewer's request as well, to use one set of stamps if we're financially challenged and basically we're skint and we can only afford to buy one set of stamps that we need to make the most out of. So this is using minimal products. I'll tell you exactly what I've used and I'll put it in the description box below the video so that you know that I've only used the set of stamps, 2 ink pads, some ivory cardstock and a bow. So you'll see as I go on what I've done with it. There are a couple of techniques, but I'm sure you'll be able to do those if you haven't got the products anyway. So I'm going to start off, as always, with my base card. Now this is a 7x5 inch base card. If for any reason you haven't got any, you can soon make your own from a piece of either A4 or 12x12 paper by simply cutting it by 7 wide and 10 long, fold it in half and give it a good score. So that's our card base, and on our cardometer it's the 7x5, so it's the size that I normally use. It's a nice size and it's a good size to decorate without being too big. So we're going to make the inside first, and the first thing that I've done, I cut a piece of ivory cardstock to match the actual card, and I cut it a little bit smaller than the card inside, and then I stamped, using the For Him stamps, I stamped my hero 3 times in a row across the top. Now a little bit of a trick here: if you're not too good with your sizing and your stamping, stamp it first and then cut your inside to measure from the 3 that you've stamped across the piece of paper. Then this is where the only tool comes in really that I've used. I've used a blending tool to blend the ink. It's the same colour, it's the Luminous Gold from Anna, and I've just blended it on the top of one edge to just carry the colour into the stamping. Then from the same set of stamps, using the Stazon, I've stamped the little image to my very special guy. So on the actual sheet that we're going to put of the insert, I've cut, like we did for the holly a couple of weeks ago, I've just cut that little piece at the end of that image so that that will slot underneath it. So I've got a bit of tape on the back of this, and I'm simply going to pop that underneath that little bit that I've trimmed, like that, and then I can add my insert to the card. If you've got other stamps, you can always mix those in. If you haven't, this is such a great way to get the most out of your stamps, and it could be for any guy. So that's our inside. You've got enough for your message, to, from, etc. And now we're going to go to the outside. As always, another quick score along the edge. Now for our base layer, I've taken the My Hero stamp again, and I've stamped it across the full sheet of paper that I've cut to fit the front. Again, if you're no good with your stamping, to think, oh, I'm going to stamp that wrong, stamp a full sheet of paper before you actually cut it out, and then at least you can cut it to fit after you've stamped, so you're not making your stamping fit to the cut, if you see what I mean. Now on here I've actually gone wrong on purpose. Can you see how this one doesn't fit in with the others and there's a gap? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to fix that, and I'm going to show you a way how to cover it. So I'm just going to stick that onto the front of my card with double-sided tape and try and get it little bit central, like that. Now you see how I haven't layered it and another colour underneath because we're going for minimal. If you're somebody, I'm going to say like me, that's got lots and lots of colours and lots of cardstock, you could layer it with a black or a dark brown, but because we're keeping minimal and we're keeping just to this kit and the bare essentials of cardstock in ivory, then that's how our base is going to look. So remember, we've got this little bit that I've bodged and I want to fix that. So what I've done is I've stamped the same image in black and I've got it on double-sided tape. Now where I made a bit of a boo-boo and I've left this gap here, I'm going to put this up to the edge and hide that bit, so that the extra bit at the bottom now looks like a shadow. So you can see it here, but it actually now looks as though it follows on. But to the trained crafting eye, it just looks like you've got an extra shadow. And now you can't see my little boo-boo at all. So instead of sticking a butterfly on it, we've stuck a label over it. So I think that looks quite cool already. So next, what we've done from the same set of stamps again, we've stamped the motorbike. Now I've used two colours of ink. I've used the Stazon Black and then I've also used the luminous gold. I've taken just a little dry pencil and I've shadowed it at the bottom. I've torn the ivory paper and I've inked again with a luminous gold around the edge just to give it that oldie worldy feel, and then I've scrunched it up and opened it up and made it nice and used and worn. So I've got it on double-sided tape and foam pads because I want a little bit of movement in it and a little bit of 3D-ness, but not too much. I don't want it to sit flat to our card. So I'm just going to put that on to our card like that, just so it looks as though it's got movement and it's a crumpled piece of paper with our image. Next, I've stamped the dogtooth check just in the Stazon and I've cut a square, and this is a replicating stamp, so you would stamp it over and over again to get the pattern, but this was just two stamps to be able to get a nice repeat pattern, which actually leads me nicely on to, I'm thinking of doing Technique January and doing lots and lots of different techniques, like showing you how to do the replicated stamping or the stamping of the background. If there's anything you'd like to see in January, please let me know. Send me a message either on Facebook or through YouTube and I shall put it on my list and I'll see if we can add it or see if it's something that we can do, and hopefully we can bring you lots of techniques, one for every day in January, so there'll be 31 techniques, all being well. But look out closer to the time for the announcement. So that's my dogtooth check that I'm just going to slip under the bike pattern and just have it as just a random square, because it could be a pattern of fabric, it could be a swatch, something like that. Then what we've got is the compass, again from the same set of stamps, because everything we've used is from the stamps. I've stamped it using the black Stazon, and then I've just slightly tinted it using the luminous gold ink pad. I've put it on 3D foam and I'm going to just stick it onto our card. So I'm going to put north to the top and just place it there like so. Now the last thing we've got is I've stamped the same message that we had on the inside to a very special guy, and I've just added a bow underneath it as a twist ribbon, and I'm just going to place that to one side of our swatch like so and pop that on, and that is actually our card finished. And that is a really great card for any guy in your life because it's not word specific. It doesn't say dad, brother, husband, etc. So it could be for anybody. And that's just using the one set of stamps and the two colours, so you don't have to rush out and buy lots of different things. It stands up well and it would look great on any guy's mantelpiece. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it's given you an insight into using just one set and what you can do with it. If you've got anything to say, any comments, please feel free. You can always find me on Facebook. Please give me the thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you next time.